Gobble, gobble. It is turkey time. It's Thanksgiving. It's that time of year that we're going to eat. But what whiskey goes with your Thanksgiving meal? Stay tuned and find out as Nico and his big whiskey brain tells us what to pair on this episode of Texas Whiskey.
Pass the mashed potatoes.
Yep. Welcome to this episode of Texas Whiskey. My name is Jimmy Hayes Nelson, a.k.a. Coach Jimmy. And to my right, as always, sipping his liquid death is the doctor, Dr. Nico Martini.
Hey,
Hi,
man.
it's holiday season.
It is so hard holiday season. Have you started Christmas decorations yet?
No, I refuse. Funny story, two stories, is it's amazing we're getting shows in right now because I looked at my calendar today and I have literally been in the city of Dallas for 4 days in the month of November. So, I'm straight off a plane, straight here.
You're picking the right days, I guess.
I guess so.
Still
To answer the thing about Christmas, the answer is no.
Okay.
Thanksgiving has always been my favorite holiday.
Why?
And I was just having this debate conversation because everybody wants to say Christmas, right? And I have a few arguments against Christmas and a few. I know that's really dangerous.
Tell us why you hate baby Jesus.
We'll start with the Christmas side of things, right? Number one, and I'm biased, my birthday's 2 days after it. So I lose.
Okay.
I lose the baby Jesus.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Every year.
Yes.
Now, however,
you are no longer the star of the show.
And we all know how
late
Jimmy
December.
doesn't like not being the star of the show.
There's one quick way to piss you off.
Now, the other side of that, so, there's certain people I know that have had Christmas stuff up since Halloween, whatever. So there's this, and I love me good Christmas music. I love the time of year, but this build up.
Yeah.
For Christmas morning, that kind of is over in 15 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you get up and everybody opens presents and you're like, and then you're sitting there staring at each other like, oh, I guess there's NBA games on. There's like, it's kind of done.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to.
Is there not football? There's not football on Christmas?
Some years there are.
Like
some
maybe
years
a
there
random
isn't.
bowl game.
Maybe,
But it's not part of the show.
Right. So let's go.
I'm knowing you. I'm guessing that's where there's a big football lean here.
Well, because there is foot. Now, also biased as a Cowboy fan.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But Thanksgiving, not as much build. I feel like, here's the deal. Christmas, a bunch of build up, a little payoff.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, no build up, huge payoff because Thanksgiving meal is some of my favorite food. So that's why I'm very excited about.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like bring it on.
That's funny.
The fact that there is a football game with a team that I ride or die with every year. Now
you go?
I go as a season ticket holder. I go every year.
Okay.
But even before then, like it was the thing where I knew I was going to get one of my favorite meals of the year. I was going to get to watch the Cowboys, and it went throughout the day. It was like a full day event because my parents, like we would tend to eat kind of early, like an early. I know there's people that do Thanksgiving like they don't eat till like dinner time.
That's insane to me.
It is because
Thanksgiving starts at noon.
Yeah, at least, yes.
Yeah.
And so noonish, so we get up that morning. Hell, we used to go play football on Thanksgiving morning. Remember the good old days?
It was either Thanksgiving or every now, then it switched to the Black Friday.
Right.
When we were too poor to buy anything on Black Friday, we're like, let's just go play
So you
football.
get up and do whatever, and then you eat. And then the other thing that you can always kind of set the clock by is that the Cowboy game is always the second game. So it's going to be 3 o'clock. So you can eat, digest a bit, kind of nap through the second half of the Lions game, and then get ready to go for the Cowboy game. Right about the time, you know what? Maybe time to go get seconds at halftime, as I guess this year we watched the Jonas Brothers. And then I just like the fact that it was a full day event. There was food, there was football, as opposed to... now I'm going to get all this hate mail about Christmas, but I just feel like Christmas, the hype to the payoff versus that there is no Thanksgiving hype. It's like, oh shit, we need to go get a turkey like the day before. So
that's funny.
That being said, now you guys can, send me all the reasons why, or I just want to know who else out there agrees with me. Like, please put comments on wherever you're watching this. Please put comments on why Thanksgiving wins. Hashtag Thanksgiving wins.
Hashtag Thanksgiving wins.
So you rolled in
That's
here with a
amazing.
Whole Foods bag.
I did, and I totally forgot my glass. So I'm gonna need to borrow one of those slick, beautiful whiskey
Oh, you're
cups.
not going to be no Glencairn for you
I
today?
have no Glen. It's in
Would
the
you
other
like
room.
one of my Don
We've
Draper glasses?
Already started the show,
That's
so
awesome.
we're gonna do it this way. But we do need to start with a little bit of whiskey. So
what should we be drinking while we're cooking our meal,
Oh
Nico?
man, that is a hell of an answer, and that is a hell of a question, and you have the answer. Why don't you grab that lineage right behind you?
Oh, the one you told me
Yes.
we weren't using?
Because I didn't think about what should we be drinking while we're cooking the Thanksgiving meal, which is obviously the most important one.
Right. Which, again, ironically, this is what kicked this whole show off.
Let's kick it off.
Our very first show, if you go back and watch episode 1,
we're gonna sip a little lineage.
it was Lineage.
while we kind of discuss whiskey and Thanksgiving and whatnot.
Tell people why Lineage.
Why lineage?
Yeah. I kind of gave you a hefty pour there. Sorry.
I would say you give me a massive
Here, why don't
pour.
you- here,
Like, what do you want me to do? Like, dump this on the pie?
Let me half that for you.
Son, sir, that's not now. That's
Oh,
later.
right.
Okay, so
That's better.
Lineage. My favorite thing about Lineage was it was basically Balcones' answer to our product is getting too expensive and we want to make it accessible. And it's their lowest priced malt whiskey. It's a fantastic whiskey. It really kind of I don't know. It kind of encompasses the direction that we're moving towards in Texas for me. It's it's a little bit more approachable. It's a little bit more the price point is also more approachable. And it's just a fantastic straightforward malt whiskey.
In fact, I think this may be the bottle we started with because I haven't had that in a minute. And I was like, oh, it is really good. I forget.
It's such a good whiskey. Like it's such a good whiskey.
Yeah.
It's such a good whiskey. I feel like every time we revisit something, it's like, oh, man, it's so good. Okay,
That means we have lots of options, and therefore we continue to get to have a show. So that's good.
So my idea was like, let's do a Thanksgiving pairing. Like, let's just kind of talk about that whole thing. So the first thing, I feel like we need to start with turkey.
Okay.
Because Thanksgiving, because turkey. So
Okay.
I told you we split up the bottles. I have these. Jimmy has those. We split up the bottles earlier, and I said, "Here you go. These are for turkey." And you're
Okay.
like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, just follow me with this."
Okay.
Turkey is not a solitary thing. Turkey, there are layers to turkey, and you should pair thusly. Frankly, if you are a white meat fan, you should lean towards more something like a Balcones Mirador.
Okay.
It's a little bit lighter. It's a second fill barrel. It's a very, very easy ride. We're going all Scott. We're going all malt. We're going malt whiskey on the
turkeys.
turkey.
Okay.
We're going malt whiskey on turkey. But yeah, the Mirador is very chill. It's very kind of easy. It's very easy drinking. It's very subdued. It's a very, very. I mean, you can even
This
just
one here, if
look
you-
at the color. Like
is.
compare the color to anything else up here. It's very, very light. Second fill barrel. You know, that whole thing. So if you're sort of into the white meat,
Right.
You know,
You're a breast man.
you're a breast man. You know,
Or a woman.
You're not,
Yeah.
or a woman. You know, you're not. You know, you're boring. go. You just like the white meat. The Mirador is perfect. Mirador is not boring, and it will enhance your experience with the boring ass turkey you're about to have. Now, if you do it right, you're getting the dark meat,
Right.
Because that's where the flavor is. And so with that, we are going with the Real Spirits Distillers Edition. This just came. Did this come out this year or was it last year? It might have been last year. It was last year. It came out
Okay.
last year, at the very end of last year. So the Distillers Edition, hard malt. So this is a blend of 3 whiskeys. Each of the 3 whiskeys are 85% malt. That's the starting point on this mash bill. Then whiskey.
So wait, I'm following along here.
3 whiskeys.
3 whiskeys. All 3 of these whiskeys are 85% malt.
Yes.
Okay.
So now you take whiskey A.
Okay.
And you add 15% corn. Whiskey B, 15% rye. Whiskey C, 15% wheat. And now you take those 3 whiskeys, they blend them together beautifully, and it becomes the Distillers Edition.
It's very complex. But
It's
that
very
kinda
cool.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, and the coolest part is I remember when they came out with this release, they had a 4-pack. So they had the Distiller's Edition and then each of the 3 that came out together.
So you could taste it individually and then see if you could match it.
Exactly.
Right.
Kind of do your own thing, or just like, oh yeah, it was very, very cool. So
this is more of the dark meat situation, right?
There's more going on. There's
Yeah.
more flavor. There's more layers. It's more about that. And now, let's address the turkey in the room. Like, fried turkey is now very much, frankly, most, dare I say, half the turkeys here are fried now.
Deep fried,
like, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you would like to destroy your turkey with all of the heat, I suggest you destroy your palate with an Andalusia Striker.
I love Striker. We talked about before that.
It is barbecue.
Yeah. We've talked about before, if you ever find yourself down there. In fact, my brother was down there not long ago. He's like, hey, I'm rolling into Andalusia. I'm like, tell him I said hi. And this was what made me feel really good. They're like, yeah, they knew exactly who you were. I was like, I've made my way into Texas whiskey world.
There we go.
You just say, yeah, the random dude, the only guy that's ever walked in here in a suit. I think that makes it easy.
Hold on. Did you also? Okay, yeah. Tell them I said hi. And if they look quizzically, just say the guy in the suit, and then
yeah. But I told them, if you ever find yourself in Andalusia at the tasting room, taste all the things, but ask for the barrel-aged Striker Old Fashioned. It is, and it's funny because I really do like Striker, but I don't do a lot of smoky type whiskey normally. Like my palate, it's not necessarily, but that cocktail that they make in-house down there is fantastic.
It's awesome. It's awesome. The thing about Striker is that it can hold. The reason that I think that works so well is it's a really hearty whiskey. Like it can hold the bitters. It can hold the sugar. It can kind of hold up to.
Okay, so it looks like
being in something.
you grabbed white meat is what we have on our plate here.
Listen, okay, so the big plan was I was going to go to Whole Foods because hey, it's Thanksgiving. Of course, they have all their Thanksgiving stuff on the hot bar. Not quite, but we have turkey. So give the turkey a try, and we can kind of
I'll show the people watching at home, if you're actually either watching on the Vocal app or on YouTube, there's all the goodies.
It's legit. Like I went to Whole Foods and bought freaking turkey and ham, as you can see right here.
Okay, so I already finished on. So this is the Mirador. We're going with this one.
Yes, go with the Mirador. There's white and dark meat on this plate.
Okay, we're doing a tiny pour after my hefty. We have lots of things to taste.
Mm-hmm. And we don't have to taste all of them. We can just kind of talk about some of them.
It's a lovely turkey. Well done.
Oh, good yes. Job. Well, thank you for the turkey, Whole Foods. This episode is brought to you by Whole Foods and our water sponsor, Liquid Death. Thanks for providing Thanksgiving the week before Thanksgiving.
God, dog, that Mirador is really good.
It's awesome, dude.
It's been a long time since I've had either of those whiskeys.
It is such a
like
good
it's rare where I taste something on this show and I just stop for a second and just like, can we just acknowledge? Mm-hmm. And you know what it is? I have all this stuff at home and I just don't migrate to the single malts a lot, like not as much as you do. And then I'm reminded, I'm like, why aren't you doing this?
That'll happen, man. You'll randomly like have a rye, and you're like, I'm on a rye kick.
Right.
Like I'm totally on a rye kick now. I want to go hard down rye.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you. So I feel like maybe not every family has a weirdo, but I'm the weirdo that wants the organ meat.
Oh,
the liver, the gizzards, whatever it is.
Well,
would you do something different?
Ooh. Wow, with gizzards?
Well, like
jeez.
Okay, so like knowing, are you an organ meat guy or no?
No, I mean I'm not. It's not my total preference, but I've definitely
because as a foodie, I mean, you're pretty adventurous when it comes to the things you eat and some of the stories you've told me about traveling. Are you not?
Mexicans don't have a problem eating organs.
Why no?
They'll eat some weird shit.
That's I guess that's my point in the fact that you've told me about all the things, different foods around the world that you've had before. So that's where I was like, I'm definitely like the liver, gizzard. Give me all the weird things that neck. Like bring it on. Yeah.
I am not that guy.
Okay.
I'm not pounding the table at Thanksgiving saying I want the gizzard.
Okay.
But I have had them. I'm familiar with it. Man, there's a lot. That's a very interesting question. I might even say. I mean, I think the answer is probably actually Striker.
Okay.
It might be Brimstone.
Which is barbecue whiskey as well.
Barbecue whiskey as well, but even more intense than even more intense than Striker. To me, like if you're basically to get down to it, when you're pairing meats with whiskey, I like to kind of match the vibe. And so if you're eating a gizzard, which is like it's thick and chewy and bloody, and even the blood's not, it's dried in there, it's very bloody, and it's just kind of that whole thing, I would say, okay, you need some sort of a whiskey that you're going to typically drink and go, oh, jeez. Like, that's what I would pair with a gizzard, whatever that whiskey is.
Because people have that same expression when they eat the gizzard as well?
Yeah, it's just so much. It's this
is
heavy.
Interesting. So so I've been on the road, and Nico's like, okay, you pick some things to pair with, and I'll pick some things. And I said, Nico, I don't know the first thing about pairing anything. And so I never knew, do you want to find something that matches, or did you want to find something? So if it's like a really aggressive food, do you want a really mild, the same thing with like wines and stuff. Like I never knew what the rules were. Do you want something that's the same, or do you want something opposite?
I think you need, to me, you generally need something that's the same, unless you are very intentionally doing an opposite thing. Like if you
on purpose,
yeah.
Right.
If you were to pair Striker with meringue,
yeah,
like that's
a
just
bit.
Air and sugar and egg. Like,
right.
Woo! Like there's nothing there. I could see that. Like I could, if you're just like, well, we just want a little pop of sweetness and don't get in the way of the whiskey at all.
Right.
Thus, if you're eating a gizzard and you drink Mirador with it, you're gonna lose what you just loved about Mirador because all you have is gizzard mouth.
Yeah.
And so
that sounds like something you go to your doctor for. I'm sorry. the test came back and
pull up a gizzard mouth.
You have gizzard mouth.
So okay.
Moving forward.
That's my turkey.
We have
bit.
what do we have
my
next?
turkey bit?
We have ham.
Okay. Next we have ham. Let's do ham.
Ham.
Now this is complimentary. I feel like because I'm going with Grayson Batch 2A, which is released on November 21st. I don't know when this thing's coming out. Yesterday. The day before yesterday. Like it just came out. So we
look on the Iron Root website.
Yeah. Go to the Iron Root website. Go to GraysonWhiskey.com. Find more information. Okay,
shameless
Grayson Batch
plug.
2. It's not even shameless. It's actually very contrived. Grayson Batch 2. So the reason that I went, the reason that I kind of went with this is that to me, honey baked ham is always it's like. There is a sweetness there. There is kind of like a mapley thing. It's kind of got like a syrupy vibe. And so for me, with this, with Grayson, with the Batch 2, it is a pancake bomb. And it's just like a bunch of maple syrup to me, at least on the nose. And then you drink it, it gets a little bit more complex. But like, yeah, it's so much like sugary.
And I feel like there's been some kind of different version of pancake description in all three batches.
Yes.
I remember you and Brandon sitting in like, one was like, well, this is the pancakes and this one's just the syrup and this is what, so that's, even this, because this time around, new whiskey in this one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Treaty Oak?
Treaty Oak.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
And what Treaty Oak?
Treaty Oak Ghost Hill Bourbon.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically whenever we go to a pick, real quick, whenever we go to pick whiskey for Grayson, we go into the Rick House and we start pointing at things and trying things. And so in the Rick House, there are no brands. There is just whiskey. So we went to Treaty Oak and we picked some barrels, and that's what we have. What those barrels would have turned into, Lord knows. But like, same thing with Iron Root. Man, they use their stuff for all sorts of different directions.
Sure.
And so Lord knows what direction they would have been. But yeah, so I don't say, oh, it's made out of Harbinger, because it's not. It's just made out of their whiskey.
Right. They could have turned into Harbinger at some point. Yeah.
Which is weird to explain. So I just say, no, it's just Iron Root. So same thing with Lone Elm. Same thing with Treaty Oak.
I need some ham.
Oh yeah, eat some. Hey, you should have some ham. Eat some ham. There it is.
Okay.
Yep, there it is. Okay, we're trying the ham with the Grayson.
Very honey baked hamish.
Hey, there we go. It is. Wow. All right, Whole Foods. That is very honey baked hammy.
Lovely.
Yeah, I just think it kind of works. I think it kind of accents what is going on with the,
especially
with
going to the honey
baby.
baked and the pancake, analogy here. It goes really well together.
Yeah, totally. So,
and congrats on a fantastic batch of Grayson. That's lovely.
I'm really, really happy with it. It's Brandon, who's my business partner, who runs the Dinero.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the episode, there's a Grayson episode.
His ass will come on. We need to talk about this. We'll get him in here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get that baseball player that we know, but we'll definitely get
that
Brandon
guy.
on.
But I always try to remind people, if we have episodes where we've talked about this before, go back and listen to the Grayson episode with Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. God willing, we're this close to this whole thing being a repository of, I've heard of that Texas whiskey. Here's a podcast with their founder. Like, we're getting really
close.
Really,
nice.
Well, we knocked out Old Humble we hadn't done. With MKT we hadn't done. Coming up, we got My Lemon Green we haven't done. We've got Yellow Rose coming up that I'm going to
the Garrison Brothers episode. We have an Andalusia episode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's so yummy.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So, okay.
You have Brussels there. Was that just sides for fun, or was that on purpose?
So I had I couldn't find the cranberry sauce, and then I found the cranberry sauce. Or they
homemade
with a little help. Homemade. Who does homemade? Do you do homemade cranberry sauce?
My mom does.
What does that even mean? What does that entail?
But it's funny because we have both. We have both because so there's like the homemade cranberry with like actual cranberries
and the stuff that's in the shape of this,
right? And so, it's funny. Okay, going back to Captain Thanksgiving over here, that you appreciate both differently because like the kid in me loves opening that because that whole. And like there's nothing in nature about it at all. It is completely manufactured. But it's like okay, another amazing Thanksgiving side. Again, I don't think it happens in nature is like the pink fluff. Were you as a pink fluff family? Like the marshmallow cream
that's a salad, bro. It's called a salad. It's a marshmallow salad. This is the family I grew up in.
Yes, it's called a salad.
Is salad.
But there is no lettuce involved in it at all.
Ain't a vegetable anywhere near that damn thing.
In fact, quick story. So last year, I told you I go to the game, and so I brought my parents and my brother, and we're all out at AT&T Stadium setting up tables to have Thanksgiving. So we do it out there, right? And it's funny because you just start chaining off sides with other people, and like
that's an awesome idea.
It's so much. People don't understand. They're like, "Why do you go to the game?" I'm like, "It's an awesome scene out there." As much as like tailgating at Cowboy games is okay. I don't think we're legendary. We're not Bill's Mafia jumping on tables, but a Thanksgiving scene at a Cowboy game is pretty awesome, man.
That's really cool.
The guys like the security was coming by and said, "Hey, you need to pick up these tables," but they're being a little gruff, and I was like, "Absolutely!" I was like, buddies, I was like, "You want anything?" And they looked at the whole table, and they're like, "Oh, you have pink stuff," and I'm like, "Yes." My stepmom had brought. I was like, "Yes, we do," and so.
Go get you a plate.
Go get you. It was basically what it was. So the same thing with like the cranberry sauce. So like the homemade cranberry sauce, but most people are gonna think because if it doesn't have the rings, from the can, that's the whole point.
It doesn't count if it doesn't have
okay, so sorry, I totally took a left turn on this story. What were you going to talk about with cranberry sauce and pairing?
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is a very tough match, like frankly, because like you're dealing with like this tart but also sweet kind of thing, and you're sort of trying to balance acidity and but there's also it's jelly, so there's a weird texture thing. So to me, the perfect pairing would be a fairly aggressive corn whiskey, but has been barrel finished.
Of course,
because
I was just waiting. Everything's finished.
So I have an old ass Iron Root.
That's why I asked you when he set this bottle down. I was like, "Can you still get that?" He's like, "Yes, but not in that bottle."
No, this is from. I don't even know when this is from. This is from a very long time ago. So
it's made an appearance on the show before. It's Iron Root Republic. Okay, I told you I've been on the road for a while, and shout out to the Licorice family because I have been a bigger commercial for them as I have been in this month alone. I have been in Atlanta, Phoenix twice, Milwaukee, Cancun, LA. Wow. Yeah, and I think somewhere along the way, Iron Root's come up in a conversation in every one of those, cities. Yeah. So why the corn whiskey with cranberry sauce?
Just because it kind of. So this is So the Icarus is their straight corn whiskey. This one was aged for 4 years. It is finished in port and peat casks. It's a blend of whiskeys that they finished, one of them in port and one of them in peat. And so it's kind of got a little bit of a smoky vibe, but mostly like it's for the port. It's the port for me. And so the port kind of matches the vibe of the cranberry. And
Gotcha.
And to me, it's something that's very complimentary.
So you would do something like that over like a True Blue or a Baby Blue from Balcones.
I think so. Yeah.
Just because of the finish?
No, to me it's about the finish.
It's about the finish.
It's much more about the finish than it is the corn. But
okay.
But man, Icarus is so good. Like with their it's a ridiculous finish. You need to drink some of this. Don't skip on that one.
Don't skip on this one.
That's old Iron Root, man. That stuff is not around anymore. That's like 3 bottles ago. I feel like they switched, and now they've switched again. And this was the OG. This was the OG bottle. I've got like 3 of those things in random.
Of the old ones?
Yeah, in random flavors.
Okay, so you chose not to open that, so we're going to trust that.
Oh, do you remember what cranberry sauce tastes like?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you like this can?
No,
for you.
and that's I
Or
probably have.
little
No, it's fine.
Salt package.
And it's real. Okay, going back to the cranberry sauce, because cranberry sauce is something you don't eat on its own.
This is a crazy whiskey.
Are you? I haven't even got that far yet.
No, man.
I love the fact that we've had stop down moments just from whiskey so far, like 3 times in the show.
I've totally forgotten how crazy this whiskey is. And
you but I asked you this.
Lovely.
You can still get. I mean, you can still get
Iron Root
Icarus.
releases an Icarus every single year.
Okay.
Now, can you get it? I don't know. That depends on how badly you want it.
Right.
There are things that you can do, like show up to the distillery the Saturday that they release it.
Right, like they did with brandy last week. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, they released an incredible brandy last week. That it's you know what it is, right? Mm-mm. It's like half their. I think they said 10. It can't be 10 years old. It can't be 10 years old. It's their brandy and half cognac. Like they went and did a pick and they did a blend of the two. It's the sister city thing.
Between them and like we should do a brandy show at some point now that there is more and more.
I think the brandy the Gulf Coast makes, I think is the best thing that they make.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more happening. Hell, TX might have one.
Really?
I kind of think TX has one. And I know there's a bunch that are like messing around with it. Andalusia, Iron Root, Gulf Coast. I bet Balcones has something.
Of course. Why wouldn't they
have something? Of course they do. Anyway, what do you think?
It's really good.
Isn't it great?
It's really great.
Oh, so good. Icarus. If you're ever able to get Icarus, it is a finished corn whiskey, and it is fantastic.
What is the proof on this?
Probably hefty.
53.6. So that's... You double the number if it's percentage, right?
That would be 107.2.
Oh, it says that right above there too. Yeah.
Oh, good. Then thank you for checking my math.
You were actually really good at that. You should be in the whiskey industry.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Was there something for the Brussels or just
Brussels? I was gonna make up some BS excuse to pair this with the Brussels. So I wanted to drink this.
Can we talk?
When I couldn't find the cranberry sauce, I just kind of but it was really to pair with the cranberry.
Can I talk about Brussels for a minute?
Yes.
So again, I travel a bunch, and part of the Ren and I were talking about this outside, but before you showed up.
Is it how you measure?
No.
Is it like your?
So my favorite thing about people are like, oh, you travel all the time. I'm like, yeah, but traveling for work is different than traveling to vacation. However, you get to go it's every night at some amazing steakhouse, right?
Yeah,
so at some point I need to detox my body, but it's Thanksgiving, so that's not going to happen.
Sure. Pink stuff.
But I have pink stuff. I have never seen a comeback story for a vegetable the way Brussels sprouts.
Dude, they have. And you know what's on the same path? Beets.
Oh, really?
Beets are huge now.
They get 2 things when we were kids that were more
I don't want to go near them.
A Brussels sprout
and beets.
Or a beet.
Yeah.
And now they're sexy. They're the sexy vegetables at every steakhouse. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Now,
that's all it is. That's all we got to do.
Yeah.
Let's just think about our childhood and what did we hate?
Yes.
Can we bring it back? Can I somehow make frozen spinach a luxury?
I
don't know. But
Yeah, and so it's one of these things. Now it's helped that now when you get Brussels sprouts, they're usually roasted in some kind of honey glaze,
Dripping in
sticky
honey.
sauce. You
Yeah.
know, so I don't think that's how nature intended it.
Yeah.
but they
I
are
only eat broccoli if it's cheese soup.
right. Okay, here's the one that will never. Well, shit, you can make
ahead.
potatoes out of it. I was gonna say cauliflower.
No, man. Cauliflower is having the biggest moment of them all.
But you can-
Have
you can
seen all of the stuff they do with cauliflower now?
I know you can make like
It's pizza, it's pasta, it's like all sorts
You're
of
right.
crap
However,
now.
there is not, and I will challenge everyone listening to this. I want comments. You can come after me. This is a big moment right here. I don't know that I've ever taken
Okay.
2 years of this.
Keep rolling.
Here we go. There is not a human alive that likes raw cauliflower by itself. To dip it in ranch? Absolutely. There is no one, I'm looking straight in the camera right now. There is no one on the face of the earth that likes raw cauliflower by itself. Come at me.
My 3.5-year-old would like a word.
Does he also eat drywall?
Oddly, yeah, he does. He's a big fan of drywall. How did you know?
Okay, we bogged down. We got to keep moving forward. What else we got? We got a pumpkin pie here. Is that
What are we talking about? Yeah, let's go straight to the pumpkin pie. Okay, just because I want pumpkin pie.
right?
Pumpkin pie.
Yep.
What I've chosen to pair with the pumpkin pie.
Oh, that okay. I thought you were just gonna make that its own thing, but that
No.
nope. Okay.
This is pairing with the pumpkin pie. This is the Blackland Texas Pecan Brown Sugar Bourbon.
Okay, so real quick, shout out to my cousin John Hayes because really sweet like dessert whiskeys like this are all his jam. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's called a sugar whiskey, is it not?
It is very much. It is a sugar whiskey.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a brown sugar with pecans whiskey.
Okay, ironically, before we go forward with this, if you go back and watch the Blackland episode with Marcus, right?
Yes.
So this is probably one of their most popular items.
This is 100%
Their most popular.
their highest selling SKU. Period.
And-
Probably 3 or 4 times over.
And he kind of hates it.
And he kind of hates it because he didn't want to make. I don't want to make a
Right.
sugar whiskey.
He felt like he was like lowering his standards by making a sugar whiskey.
Unfortunately, he made it really well, and it tastes freaking awesome.
It
and
is
people love
really
this
good.
thing. And it is fall in a bottle. Like
It is fall. Well done. Fall in a bottle. I like that.
It is fall in a bottle.
You should sell them that like as a
Sell
marketing
that
thing.
phrase,
Yeah.
trademarked. So the reason that I paired it with the pumpkin pie
Yep.
is because it's Thanksgiving, and we're trying to get through this, and there's certain, me being one of them, there are people that are going into the Thanksgiving holiday thinking this is going to destroy all of the work that I've been doing to lose weight, and I've been trying to focus on this, and I really want 2 pieces of pie, but I just don't think I want to try justifying the 2 pieces of pie. So I'm going to have my pecan pie here, and I'm going to have my pumpkin pie in person. That's why I'm pairing these
So
two.
I'm gonna have diabetes in a bottle.
But at least it's not a whole freaking slice
You're right.
of pumpkin
Absolutely.
pecan pie.
Yeah.
So
It's really tasty. That's actually my bottle from last year. That's still hung around. So
I've totally forgotten what this tastes like, but it's just so syrupy. It's like even coming out of the bottle, it's super.
okay, something else I want to bring up that we didn't bring here that we talked about while prepping for the show because it does. I had to look it up. Like, does this stuff actually go bad?
Oh, the bourbon cream
Is like bourbon cream, right? And so I had one from Lockwood.
So it's so dumb good.
It's
Like
dumb good, right.
it's good. Like it's good. Like you walked up to the bar and said, "I'll take a shot. What do you want? I don't know. Surprise me." And it's like this incredible shot that
Right.
they just magically made for you. Yeah, it's just dumb good. It's super sweet. It's really like viscousy, and it's just great.
And you know what? It's actually
I would like to dump this on a pie.
right. But you know what? It's not overly sweet. It's not so much like, oh my gosh, that's overly sweet. But real quick, before we move on from the bourbon cream thing, so I know like Lockwood has one. So I go up to
Bent has one as well.
Okay. So I go up to Milwaukee and teach a workshop on a regular basis up there with a buddy of mine. Shout out to Pat Quinn. And I always joke that, it's Texas and Wisconsin together because it's Texas whiskey and Wisconsin cream. But it's fantastic as well, and so that's another option if you're looking for something kind of desserty, something sweet.
It's so super
we have
simple.
to have pumpkin pie.
Yes, you have to have pumpkin pie with this.
That was a really big piece of
That is a
pumpkin pie.
massive slice.
For those of you watching here, that's a big pie.
Jimmy decided to eat half of the slice of pie. There's Lockwood has a bourbon cream. Bent has a bourbon cream. I think that's it for as far as Texas goes. Buffalo Trace has a fantastic bourbon cream.
Oh, they do, really?
You're sort of, that's what Irish cream is, right? It's Irish whiskey and cream.
Cream, right? Yeah.
It's so you're kind of getting into that. Bourbon cream is like us trying to be like, well, screw Bailey's. We can make money doing we can do that too with our native whiskey. And so that's where bourbon cream came from.
Well, and the same way that, Marcus talked about whether it's the sugar one, and don't they have, what's the one that's kind of the classy Fireball? Don't they have something else like that?
They have a cinnamon one?
Thing?
No, that's Shire. They were talking about their classy Fireball.
Okay. Okay. But it's that same deal of, let's see what's kind of popular that most people kind of roll their eyes at of like, this is a crap product. And let's make a quality one. So if you want
Brussels sprouts,
if you want Brussels sprouts, if you want Fireball, or you want, whatever your bourbon cream is, well, why don't we just make it with like really good ingredients?
Yeah, there's options. There's a handful of cinnamon whiskeys all over Texas. Shire's got one. Acre out in Fort Worth has one. There's a handful of them. It goes. I mean, it's Thanksgiving dessert. Like this thing pairs with anything that's fall driven. It's going to go well with this whiskey.
So let me ask you, because I wrote this down here, and maybe it's just with dessert, but I was thinking for people that want to, or that are cocktail people, like we talk about straight whiskey all the time, but we're both at heart cocktail guys. And it's always this time of year. So I have all these cocktail books. I have both of your cocktail books. Shout out to Nico's written 2 Texas cocktail books. You can find them on Amazon. Or just go to our Instagram. There's a link to it on our Instagram on Texas Whiskey Show as well. So I feel like this is the time of year that it's funny. I have this huge, whiskey collection at home. I don't drink at home a lot, but when I do, I'll take out the Death and Company book or one of your books or whatever. I'm like, oh, what can I make? So some of the things that I thought of that I think are really like fallish was you could definitely make an old fashioned, and there's a gajillion types of old fashions. A Manhattan, I feel, is like a very fall. Yeah. I know heavy is not the right word, but it's
there's more to it. It's not like you're not making something with lime juice.
Exactly right. We have moved from the margarita part of the world or time of the world to this, and then a Boulevardier, which I just started. I had when I was in Cancun. I was looking at what they had at the bar. I'm like, what do you? And I feel like that's an underrated cocktail that a lot of whiskey people don't necessarily drink.
I agree.
And so would you feel like all 3 of those would only be paired with dessert, or do you feel like that could go with a meal as well?
Oh, no, man. I will absolutely drink a Manhattan and eat a steak.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But I mean, like Thanksgiving specifically.
Oh, Thanksgiving specifically. Those I would. Well, it depends on what you're making. Like, do you have prime rib for your Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, okay. I didn't really think about that. I guess I'm thinking traditional.
Yeah, like you could
turkey stuffing. To me, sweet potatoes.
All of those sound like red meat pairers.
Okay.
That you would want to put with some sort of a red meat, but. Man, if you fry your turkey, like it's getting it close to like you're taking away the sort of fluffiness of turkey and making it more of a dense kind of flavor bomb. Yeah. Which to me that would make sense for an old fashioned or for a Boulevardier.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I just think the idea of like kind of playing around with these cocktails at home, and then
it's so much fun.
Yeah,
like it's the thing is like. We don't have a lot of free time in this world today where we live, sports whatever. Right, we don't have a lot of free time, but when we do, it's around this time of year.
Yep.
Just because we all kind of force it on ourselves.
Sure.
And so this is when we make cocktails, frankly. It's this or like by the pool during the summer. Like that's when we drink these things. And so,
Going back to Christmas. Okay, so
you hate Christmas.
No. going back to cocktails, this made me think of this. So being my birthday is 2 days after Christmas on the 27th. Thank you all for sending me whatever gift. I turned 45 this year, dude.
You okay?
You know, I was having this conversation that age has really never bothered me because I've never felt my age. I've had
now.
I don't necessarily feel it, but there's something about 45 that I'm like, okay, 45.
Probably on the back half of this whole ride, aren't I?
But I plan to live to 120, so we're okay. It's as long as I continue to drink fantastic whiskey.
Yeah.
No, but people always joke that timeline between Christmas and New Year's, you always see like memes and stuff like what day is it? Like people don't necessarily go back to work. There's this weird spot. People spend a lot of time at home. Mm-hmm. That is a time that I mess around and play make a bunch of cocktails at home too.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. At no point am I going to make fresh coquito other than. Well, yeah, I'm stuck at home because the kids are off of school, and you know whatever. Yeah, let's go make rum drinks. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Nico, well done, dude.
So,
this has been impressive.
This has been a lot of fun. I do have one quick Thanksgiving story for you.
Okay,
and it actually involves the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
So back in a former life, I was a techie. I did tech stuff for theater and whatnot.
Yep.
I worked the Thanksgiving Day game 1 year.
On the tech side?
As I was one of the people on the floor who made the thing come out and they did the thing and then
the halftime show. We'll pause. Wait, for those of you that don't know, which I feel like everybody should know, the Cowboy game every year is this huge fundraiser for the Salvation Army. Mm-hmm. And they have like the big pots, the big Salvation Army buckets on the field. And there's always some marquee, usually big name. This year is actually a big name because the past few years, it's been what I call baseball hat country, and I don't know those people.
Uh-huh.
So,
baseball hat country.
Right. So this year's the Jonas Brothers. So anyway, it's literally because also NFL halftime is like, I don't know, 12 minutes. It's really quick. And so
okay,
well, so
that's where the story
this is where we're going into your story. Go ahead.
So that's where the story begins. It's 12 minutes. Like that's the time frame.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how much it costs them if they're late?
Oh, in advertising dollars?
Yeah, it's
millions.
It is for like every second. It's like 35 grand.
Damn.
And so, or at least that's what we were impressed upon.
It's probably true.
That we gotta go.
We gotta go.
So,
who was the artist your year? Do you remember?
Don't even care.
Don't care.
Remember? Don't care. Didn't even watch the show.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because you're there for 48 hours working straight. Like the people
At
that
the
are
stadium.
loading, the people that are loading in the halftime show. Mind you,
now was this Old
nothing
Texas
on the
Stadium or
field.
is this AT&T
No,
Stadium?
it was AT&T.
Okay.
There are no people. There is no. You don't walk in and see the halftime show. We have to set everything up so that it comes together and then they do the show. So it takes a lot. Anyway, so we are. So it's after the show's happened and you're there and you're kind of striking everything and you've been there for a very long time and this dude fell asleep. Like in the middle of the field, like I don't know what he was.
A tech guy or who?
Tech guy.
Okay,
and I mean, it's whatever. It's not like nobody's rushing now. Like everyone's just kind of taking the show down. He fell asleep, and so his boss comes over and he takes a rope and he wraps it around his legs so that he can't.
It's a very Texan story.
So that he can't move. Or so that he can't like.
Right,
hop up.
Saw that in a rodeo once, yeah.
And then he tells everybody to back away. And then he kind of gets up close to his buddy, kind of close enough. I'm gonna back off because what he actually did was he gets right up into his ear, and he goes, "Incoming! Clear!" And he wakes up and tries to start, and he's tied down.
He's tied down,
and it was the.
Thinking that there was a set about to run him over.
Yeah. It was absolutely hysterical. Like one of the funniest, I can't even tell you how funny the reaction was from him. He thought he was dying, which is rude.
Yeah.
But to
everybody else, it was great.
But God, it was funny. It was just a lovely moment of levity in 48 hours of hell.
It's another reason why Thanksgiving is the best holiday of the year.
Really?
And on that note,
okay.
Nico, thank you for...
Yes.
You were about to grab the cranberry
I was.
can.
I was about to drink
I don't think you can drink out of that. Hey guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving. Wherever you're watching this, we would love whatever the highest rating is. Like, you should just give us an amazing rating on this show alone.
Say we did a good job.
Say we did a good job. Comment. But more importantly, follow us on Instagram at Texas Whiskey Show. Send us comments. Let us know what you're pairing. Send us pictures. Actually, there's a link there that you can go to. And if you ever want all of Nico's tasting notes, you can get that there. You can put it on your phone, and that way you know about every whiskey in Texas, what it tastes like, and what to pair it with as well.
It's a lot easier to pair things when you have a cheat sheet.
It's a lot. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. I am thankful for you, my friend.
I am thankful for you.
Cheers.
And until next time, cheers y'all. Thanksgiving wins.